Good day, and we are Group 3, and the Group 3 members are Engine Cadet Windel Canonigo, Engine Cadet Marvin Marfa, Engine Cadet Repollo, Engine Cadet Kenrick Jacalan Timoteo, Engine Cadet Marh Patlingrao, Engine Cadet Pawncess Chum Deloso Padayogdog, Engine Cadet Iverson Demeterio Ihalad, and Engine Cadet Brylle Cañete Lyanto. These are the objectives. Number 1, you will be able to explain the concepts of global village. Number 2, you will be able to explain the attributes of global village. Number 3, you will be able to explain the advantages and disadvantages of global village. And lastly, number 4, you will be able to give examples related to concept of global village.
Hi everyone, so this is Cadet Marh Patlingrao, and this presentation is a educational purposes only. So I represent the group 3, and our main topic is all about global village concept. So the most prominent of McLuhan's predictions was that global village that would connect all people everywhere thanks to technology. So McLuhan's concept was based on the idea that culture would move toward greater personal interactions after leaving behind earlier eras of humanity that focuses on the spoken and written word. So in 1964, Marshall McLuhan launched the Global Village. It's a new concept that applies to a world in which communication is instantaneous and distances are annulled by technological evolution. Marshall McLuhan, a noted philosopher and media theorist, was born in around 1911 in Canada. He studied at multiple universities in his home country before becoming a lecturer at the University of Toronto. So McLuhan's prediction of a global village in the early 1960s, so which first appeared in his book, which entitled The Gutenberg Galaxy. So he drew appeared in the book is a contemporaries at the time. It wasn't until the internet was first introduced in year 1989, so 9 years after his death, people remembered McLuhan's theories and showed renewed interest in his ideas. McLuhan believed that the world was entering a fourth age. He called that electronic age or digital age, where people everywhere would be able to discover and experience the same information through the use of technological use. So his studies on trends in technology and their effect on human communication, so it helped him develop his hypothesis about the future and how innovations such as the coming internet would impact individuals and culture as a whole. What is global village? So global village is a such an environment where the world is considered as a single community in which telecommunications link the inhabitants together. So in other words, global village is an idea where all the people of the world will live as a single society and provide communication and services to each other through the use of information and communication technologies. That is the world based on the information, data, and communication technology, which is called global village.
Global village has been used to express the idea that people throughout the world are interconnected through the use of new media technologies. So it is almost 40 years since Marshall McLuhan coined the phrase of global village in his books, The Gutenberg Galaxy. So he argued that electronic technology was shrinking the planet at time. Seas and space has vanished. So an example of the global village is all the combined societies throughout the world. So the world was a single community of interdependent inhabitants who are interconnected by contemporary technology. So especially television and the World Wide Web. So it can be throughout as a process by which countries come closer together throughout increasing contact and communications. So especially trade to create a single global system in which developments in one part of the world influence so individuals and communities elsewhere in the world. So McLuhan believed that the world was entering a fourth age he called the electronic age, so where people everywhere would be able to discover and experience the same information throughout the use of internet and technological tools. So his studies on trends in technology and their effect on human communication helped him develop his hypothesis about the future and how innovation such as the coming of internet so would impact individuals and culture as a whole. So in internet, McLuhan's predicted that a global village, a tool that connects almost everyone and everywhere with a few clicks of a mouse. So for example is we can experience what is happening on the other side of the world by simply finding the right website. So we can read about the cultures that we've never experienced firsthand, and we can view never before seen so photos and videos for aboriginal peoples and unusual wildlife of thousands of miles away.
Good day, everyone. I'm Engine Cadet Iverson Ihalad. I'm the continuation of the topic of global village tours. So, and there's so advantages and disadvantages of global village. And here's the advantages. The emergence of the global village breaks the traditional concept of time and space. It makes people closely linked with the outside world as a whole and become world and more understanding of human interaction. Global village changes people's concept of news and promotional ideas, forcing the news medias to pay more attention to the interests and needs of those who receive the information. And the global village promotes the rational allocation of sources, capital, technologies, products, market, and entire worldwide. And the development of the national economy, it is beneficial to raise the level of international division of labor and the rapid development of international trade. Developed countries can fully exploit their capital and technological advantages and make use of rich resources and cheap labor in developing countries to obtain profit. And the world become a global village is conducive to maintaining the situation of peaceful development and reducing the possibility of wars. When we are in the same village, what we want to do is protect our only home of survival and care about families. Most countries in the world are involved in a deeper level of international division of labor and investment of technology transfer activities of multinational countries combine production, sale, and R&D together closely. The global village is where we live, so the environment is essential to us and we will attach great importance to it. Globalization makes the range of culture make and become broader and intercultural communication and become increasingly important. The tendency will lead to colorful culture and rich people lives. And so, here's the disadvantages of global village. The possibility that the obvious recession of large countries' economy and will trigger global economic depression or even increase in the event its conduction speed depth of the impact may far surpass the previous world economic crisis. The economic crisis will cause a huge waste of social wealth and do damage to the social productive forces. And the global village has led to expansion of the gap between rich and poor between countries and within countries' traditional industries of the developing countries like United States. Britain and France have to relocate. It will easily resolve the retrogression of society due to social unrest. And some countries deviate from the direction of the evolution of the globalization and the pace of progress of humanity history. And they do not give up hegemony, strategic expansion, and arm race, and do not curbing other emerging powers. Once they get rid of the current strategic dilemma, there are chances that they will stir up great powers confrontation again, which will cause great harm to transformation of the international system and the cause of human peace and progress. Marginalized countries in the globalization hegemony terrorism, nuclear proliferation will not reduce, but increase regional hotspot issues with deepening of the globalization in the first 20 years of the 21st century. They increase the effect of regional hotspot to play the role of the global security situation and make the international situation continues to intensify local turbulence and overall state of peace. In the global village, people have easy access to each other. It is convenient to contact each other and do harm to one another too. So here's the conclusion. The world become a global village is actually a double-edged sword with advantages and disadvantages. What we should do is seize the opportunity, actively participate in avoid disadvantage and harm, prevent risks, and meet the challenges. If we don't blend in the global village, we will lag behind forever. So that would be all. Thank you.
So in addition, the impact of global village, it also contributes to world economic integration process. The global village promotes the rational allocation of resources, capital, technologies, products, market and labor worldwide, and the development of the national economy, providing a vast space for development of national economies. And it also changes your perspective of your world and the home you live in. It helps to expand our plans, our perspective on our life here on earth. You can gather things, it can change our lives to be beautiful. And it also increases the speed of communication and the ability for people to read about, spread, and react to global news quickly.
Hi, good afternoon. I am Marvin Marfa. The global village and the contemporary characteristics. The modern global village is a reflection of such contemporary characteristics of telecommunications, that being such new media as the internet, blogs, social spheres, which is a combinations from new sociological structures within the context of culture. Marshall McLuhan coined the term global village in 1964 as an electric nervous system that was rapidly integrating the planet, resulting in that events in one part of the world could be experienced from other parts in real time. McLuhan and Michelle, 2014, page 92. These transformations of the modality of media has allowed for the expansions of public ideals through telecommunications and contemporary technology. The modern global village has transitioned into an informative world wherein media controls platforms for instantaneous information sharing from all regions of the world in an ever-growing expansion. Dixon 2009 page 1 highlights these characteristics of the global village. This phenomenon of the world shrinking and expanding at the same time due to persuasive technological and advances that allow for instantaneous sharing of culture. For all cultures to become one in the global village is a controversial assumption as McLuhan highlights equal representations, reciprocal sharing, enriched diversity, and mutual understanding all condemn the global village with its contemporary characteristics and modalities of media as one-sided in the form of Western culture, with third world countries unable to have the possibility of such information's exchange. People are afraid that the evolutions of a global village will raise conflicts between cultures, cause fragmentations of a culture, or lead to cultural dominations by more developed countries, and possibly create hybrid cultures. Dixon 2009 page 1 The global village called possible great divide between cultures with the information exchange as Dixon highlights as modality media becomes an option of exclusivity for some cultures have although the global village harness such contemporary characteristics and modality media as the internet, World Wide Web, public opinion, and social platforms to enhance the information exchange as McLuhan and Dixon highlights the global village will eventually create divide amongst each culture due to such media modalities and contemporary characteristics and that create cultural domination.
People use technology to fit in into a digital community to which they are not physically connected but mentally connected. Each social media platform acts as a digital home for individuals, allowing people to express themselves through the global village. A review of semantics argues that the media ecology and media have expanded who has the ability to create and view media text. Since mass media began, it has called for the westernization of the world. Without the mass media in effect, other countries may not have the knowledge of what accusations of the other countries of the world. Since most of the developing countries acquire the news and entertainment from developed nations like US, the information received can be biased in favor of the developed nations, which connects the world in similarities within the media. On the internet, physical distance is even less of a hindrance to the real-time communicative activities of people. Social spheres are greatly expanded by the openness of the web and the ease at which people can search for online communities and interact with others who share the same interests and concerns. According to McLuhan, the enhanced electric speed in bringing all social and political functions together in a sudden implosion has heightened human awareness of the ability or rather responsibility to intense degree. Increased speed of communication and the ability for the people to read about, spread, and react to global news quickly enables individuals become more involved with others from various social groups and countries around the world, and to be aware of our global responsibilities. Similarly, web-connected computers enable people to link their websites together.
7 billion people share this, but if the world's entire population was squeezed into a village of only 100 people, it would look something like this. Unsurprisingly, half of the people in the village will be male and the other will be female. 26 will be children and 74 will be adults. 8 of these will be 65 or over, representing the growing age of our population. There will be 5 people from the US and Canada, 9 from the Latin America, 11 from Europe, 15 from Africa, and 60 from Asia. Migration towards cities means that 51 people will live in the rural outskirts of our village, and 49 in the much smaller urban center. Will be 75 have shelter from the elements, 23 will not. Of those that do have housing, the majority will be substandard. 13 people will not have access to clean water and 22 will not have any electricity. Of those that do most would use it only for light at night. 18 people will be unable to read or write, but while 10 years ago only one person will cover degree education, today that's left up to 7. 15 will be malnourished, 1 will be dying of starvation, but 21 will be overweight. Nearly half of the population will live on less than $2 a day, and 1/5 will have to live on less than $1. And every year, 1 person will die, that 2 more will be born to take their places.
So, good day everyone, I'm Cadet Padayogdog. So, an examples of global village is all combined societies throughout the world. The world as a single community of interdependent inhabitants who are interconnected by contemporary technology, especially television and the World Wide Web. So, example of globalization village theory is the last remaining ancient and isolated village in the world. So, high in jungle mountains of Flores Islands in Indonesia at an altitude of 4,000 feet is one of the last remaining ancient and isolated village in the world, called Wairibu. The village has been occupied by the Mangarian people of almost 2,000 years. There are 8 traditional conical thatched homes called Imbaro, timbong that are occupied by 1 or more families, subsisting on agriculture products like taro, coffee, vegetables, and jungle meat. Their lifestyle has changed little into 2 millennia. So, other examples is village industry. Example of village industry are manufacturers of gar and kansari, cane and bamboo baskets, shoe making, pottery, and leather tanning. Any industry located in rural area which produce any goods or renders any service with or without the use power specified from time to time by Kadai and Village Industries Commissions. Village industry are mainly concerned with the processing of local raw material for local markets with simple techniques. The scope of such industries depends in part, other part, relation of the corresponding large-scale industry, in part on the development of agriculture and the growth of rural amenities. As agriculture becomes more intensive, there will be greater demand for certain articles of consumption and tools and implements which could be met by village industry. Amenities in rural life such as supply of pure drinking water, street lighting, sanitation, hospitals, recreation grounds, community centers, and road increase the field for village industry. The possibility of turning waste into wealth, for instance productions of gas from cow dung, and other refuse of the village through gas plants insofar as operations prove economic. Production of bone manure through bone digesters, soap making out of non-edible oils, would further provide scope for the development of village industries. That's all.